The rain drizzled lazily that Tuesday morning, as if the clouds themselves were reluctant to face the day. Matt sat by the window of Café Amore, nursing his usual, a double-shot Americano with just a hint of steamed milk. The cafe, his refuge from the world, was the stage for his musings and, more often than not, his procrastination. He'd convinced himself that he came here to write, but in truth, he mostly people-watched and philosophized about the little things in life. It was amidst one of these reflections, about the merits of jam over jelly, that he first saw her. She burst into the cafe like a gust of sunshine on that gray day, shaking the rain from her red umbrella and brushing droplets from her bright yellow raincoat. She was a splash of color in his monochrome world, a vibrant painting come to life. Matt's eyes followed her as she made her way to the counter. She ordered a complicated concoction involving words like macchiato, extra foam, and hazelnut syrup, which he promptly forgot in the intoxicating blur of her presence. Her voice was a melody, lilting and full of laughter, even when speaking to the barista. Matt wondered if she might be a singer or perhaps a radio show host, the kind you stay tuned into for hours, captivated not by the content but by the cadence of the voice. As luck or destiny would have it, there were no vacant tables except the one opposite Matt. She glanced around, her eyes settling on him. With a warm, apologetic smile, she approached.
Mind if I sit here?
Her voice as melodic up close as it had been from across the room. Matt, fumbling with his cup, managed a nod and a croaked,
"Of course, please."
She introduced herself as Emily, and as she spoke, Matt found himself enthralled not only by her words, but by her animated expressions. She had a way of talking with her hands, punctuating her sentences with gestures that made her stories come alive.
So, do you come here often?
She asked, her eyes twinkling with genuine curiosity. Matt, his heart doing little cartwheels, replied,
"Almost every day. It's my thinking spot."
And what do you think about?
She prodded, leaning in slightly, genuinely interested.
"Oh, the big questions. Jam versus jelly, whether dogs dream in color, if pineapples belong on pizza,"
he said, trying to sound profound. Emily laughed, a sound so pure and joyous that Matt decided right then and there he could listen to it forever.
You're funny. I like that,
she said, her eyes crinkling at the corners. Matt felt a warmth spread through him, melting away the usual anxiety that accompanied conversations with strangers. He decided to take a chance.
"And you? What brings you here on this rainy morning?"
Emily took a sip of her complicated drink, her eyes momentarily distant as she considered her answer.
I'm a writer, or at least I'm trying to be one. I come here to find inspiration.
"A writer? Me too." "Well, sort of. I come here to write, but I usually end up just watching people."
That's wonderful. People watching is the best way to find stories. Everyone has a story, don't you think?
Matt nodded, feeling a connection with her that he couldn't quite explain.
"Absolutely. Sometimes I just sit here and imagine the lives of everyone who walks in. It's like watching 1,000 little movies."
Emily smiled, her eyes softening.
Exactly. Every face has a history, every gesture a hidden meaning. It's all about looking deeper.
They spent the next hour exchanging thoughts and ideas, their conversation flowing effortlessly. Matt learned that Emily was new in town, having moved here for a fresh start after a difficult breakup. She was writing a novel about rediscovery and healing, a project that mirrored her own journey. Matt shared snippets of his own writing, mostly unfinished stories and half-formed ideas. Emily listened with rapt attention, offering encouragement and insight that made him see his work in a new light. He felt an inexplicable bond with her, as if they'd known each other for years, rather than just an hour. As the rain outside began to taper off, Emily glanced at her watch and sighed.
I should probably get going. I've got a deadline looming, and I promised myself I'd finish a chapter today.
Matt's heart sank a little at the thought of her leaving.
"Will you come back tomorrow?"
Emily smiled, that warm, radiant smile that had first caught his attention.
I think I will. Same time?
"Same time."
She gathered her things, and as she stood, she reached out and touched his arm lightly.
Thank you, Matt, for the conversation. It was exactly what I needed.
He watched her leave, the red umbrella opening up like a flower as she stepped into the street. The rain had stopped, but the world still glistened, every surface reflecting the soft, golden light of the emerging sun. Matt felt a surge of inspiration, a spark that he hadn't felt in a long time. He opened his notebook, the blank page before him no longer intimidating but inviting. He began to write, the words flowing as if guided by some unseen force. The cafe buzzed around him, but he was lost in his own world, his thoughts a cascade of ideas and images. He wrote about a girl in a yellow raincoat with a red umbrella who brought color to a gray day and light to a shadowed heart. He wrote about chance encounters and the magic of connection, about finding inspiration in the most unexpected places. And as he wrote, he knew that tomorrow held the promise of another conversation, another chance to dive into the depths of imagination with someone who understood. The rain had cleared, the sky was bright, and Matt felt for the first time in a long while that everything was exactly as it should be.